Hello.
Oh, hello. Um, Another week down, and my God, this season, just when you think that it's going to settle down into a pattern of the person on the bottom just going to go, all of a sudden, even that pattern can be crazy and exciting. And now I think the pattern moving forward from here is going to be broken and things are flipped. Everything has changed. Everything that we knew about the game has changed in terms of who people are aligned with, where people stand, who's the targets, who's working with who. It has all completely changed. I expect to see some major number flippage in where a lot of these people are. And yeah, there's going to be some changes in scores for sure.
Yeah.
This is going to be a big week. This week was crazy. This week, our first tie in 7 seasons,
hmm Biggest
our
tie.
largest tie ever. Um, what a way to start off the jury phase. We're in for a treat this jury phase, I think.
hmm
Um, and I'll be very interested to see how it all plays out. I literally don't even know what to say. I wish I had more to say. And we will we just have to dive. We just have to dive in and start talking about people.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, Amanda.
This was insane. Okay. Um, It's crazy because there's the ranking that I thought I was going to be giving people for most of the week. And then in the last hour before the vote, and then like the 30 minutes right after the vote, which I am still counting just because we had that time or whatever, everyone's numbers completely changed. For a while this week, I think Amanda was someone that I really would have worried about in the immediate future. I think that she's someone that, with the pattern that we've seen over the last couple of weeks of like once you take out one consensus target, another one kind of emerges. I think that whether it was Chloe or Peyton that went home, that Amanda, had the pattern continued, would have emerged as the next person that would have been up on the docket to be booted here soon. However, then we had a major game shakeup, and now she's left in a very interesting position. Talking through it, losing Peyton for her this week was not good. Bad thing happened for Amanda. However, I no longer think that she's anyone's biggest issue
Bless
in
you.
terms of like people, for sure, for people that need. I don't think anyone's targeting Amanda immediately moving forward. A lot of information has been exposed about who's working with who, and Amanda's shit has stayed with her. It hasn't gotten out anywhere. Um, she's got a great relationship with Ryan. I think it's now stronger than ever. I think that's going to be crucial for her. I think Luke has set in a few diagrams of like, okay, I might need to keep Amanda around if we're going to be targeting and play the middle here. She's got a great relationship with Matt. Um, it's so hard to give a ranking. It's so hard to give a ranking.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first. I mean, I know where I'm circling.
Um, I will say
Last week
that,
I was at a 6 and you were at a 5.
yeah, I will say that I think for a large part of this week, it was speculated that she was going to be leaving. Um, and I think that, well,
Mm, I wouldn't agree with that.
we'll give your thoughts then.
I don't think it was speculated that she was going to be leaving.
Well, she would have been the replacement nominee. That was Luke's plan from like the,
If Peyton came up,
yeah, if the veto was used. Yeah.
if Peyton came off, but even if Chloe went off, came off, I think Peyton leaves in a heartbeat before Amanda leaves.
Okay, well, she had a chance of going on the block and going home. I'm gonna stay at my five this week. Because I think she has some people in her corner, but she has some people very not in her corner too. Uh,
Yeah, I
and
think
those
I think
people I think are gonna be in trouble slash are Chloe. So I don't know how much that impacts and that outweighs the people that are with her, but five for me, especially because she was very much talked about being a replacement nominee this week, and I think had some potential to go home.
yeah, this is where I was circling, and I do agree that with the fact that she was definitely in the running to be nominated, as well as the fact that there are definitely some people that she's not connected to, I can't confidently give her a six. So I think I'm going to lower her to a five. Because ultimately, also being on the wrong side of the boat, being
Hmm.
exposed for it, and also having the incorrect read on what happened immediately following
Hmm.
is not going to be great for her. So a five feels correct.
Cool. Brandon Prince.
I love Brandon so fucking much. He he's so great. I will never stop saying how happy I am that he's on this season. Um, he's someone that I constantly waver back and forth on, and if he's doing really, really well, or if he's not doing even close to enough. And it's so confusing. And
I
I think
think
it's somewhere in between the two things. And I think that's working this season because I think this season has proven that the people that are doing the most are the people that are going to get caught. And I think the fact that he's not doing the most is what's helped him. Here's what I can confidently say. Now that Peyton is gone, there is not a single person in the game that I think puts him up.
but I
That
think
in and of
that's going to
itself.
end up being a problem for him coming soon. I really think he is has his hands in a lot of pots, which is
But
a lot of
it's
cookie
interesting to say
jars.
that because I don't think he does.
I think I think that he's been a little wishy-washy with some people. I think Sean is a little upset that they didn't vote the same way. I think
Sean can get over it because he was the king in the beginning of the season,
I'm
being
just
like,
saying. I'm
I'm
just saying.
glad. No, 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 I know.
I'm just saying that's I'm not saying that Sean is correct. I'm just saying that I think he's got his hand in a lot of cookie jars.
Hmm. I don't know if I fully. I
And
mean, so
nobody
he's
putting him
clearly.
up, I think people will start seeing that.
I really don't think so because I again the cookie jars aren't there. The only alliance that he has is with Faven, Liz, and Luke, and as of this week, that's kind of done. Um, he's got good individual relationships. So like he's obviously got Luke and he's got Liz, and that hasn't changed. He's got a great working relationship with Sean. Um, but outside of that, he doesn't talk. He has a good relationship with Matt. Um, he doesn't talk to Paige all that much. He doesn't talk to him. He talks to
Luke,
Amanda a
you say
decent
Luke
amount
already?
now. Yeah, he talks to Luke a ton. Yeah, as like one of his number ones.
I'd say Ryan a little bit. I
He's talking with everyone a little bit to the point, but it's like I think that's fine. I don't think I think it's different talking to people one on one and just like being open about where you're at in the game. But honestly, if all of the alliances got exposed today, he doesn't look like a threat because he's not in the alliances.
I think it's
He's
more of
just
the
being
fact
included in the
that
conversations, and you can't fact check the fact that he's close with people.
I think it's more of the fact, I don't know. I just am thinking about his relationship with Ryan, his relationship with Sean. I see him getting on calls with these people, and he's kind of like, "Yeah, I don't really know what to do with this vote, and I'm open to talking about it, but like, I really want to hear what you have to say. And then not he didn't vote with them. I think I don't think that will damage his relationship with Sean because I think they're already pre-existingly close. I think Ryan is hurt. I think maybe by more people, but they were on call for a long time today and they were weighing options and I don't know.
I don't think hurt is the right word because I don't think Ryan was expecting Brandon to vote with him. I think maybe like isn't prioritizing Ryan as Brandon as much, sure, and that's definitely something to say. But even to say further, because this vote was so split, of the people like Ryan or Sean or Faven or Vic that got betrayed by Brandon, if you could even say that, they've all got bigger fish to fry.
Fair. I'm gonna
And
stay
I
on
think
six this week.
I think that I for where I for what I've seen Brandon do, for how much everyone else's names is being thrown out now. And when I say everyone else's names, I literally mean every other single person's name on this cast, with maybe one exception, which we'll bring up, has been thrown out as someone that's been a little messy or not trustworthy or is maybe in alliances. Like his name literally just is not coming up as a target at all, anywhere. And I don't think that's going to be an issue because it's not like once the targets run out, it's going to be like, oh, we're looking at Brandon. It's like, are the targets going to run out? Everyone else's name is being brought up. I just think he's now going to be in a more key position. And even in the calls that I've seen from him immediately following the eviction, he knows where he's got to push things and where he's got to push his allies to make sure that they are his allies and not like he's on the outskirts. So I think he knows what he's got to do. I'm not going to be able to raise my score into the 8, 9, 10 territory until I feel like he's the one running things, and he is certainly not the one running things. However, I do think he's in a really niche position that some other people might want to be in, and no one's clocking him as being in that position. And that's what I think is key. He's not being clocked at anywhere near this position. If anything, people think more so that like they just have a good relationship with him and Brandon's just kind of out there. Like he's not being clocked anywhere. That's what's I think like outstanding for him. I'm gonna go up to a 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I mean I really hope to see Brandon in this final 5 at the very
I
least.
definitely do too. Um,
And I think we can.
I just think it's I think he potentially could be walking a treacherous line too when you're have a lot of people that you're trying to please.
And
But
that's fair. And again, and this is where I just think we differ in rankings, where it's like, again, I agree that he could be walking a fine line. But the reality is right now, not a single person has
fair,
said his name. And therefore, until I see someone start to say his name, I'm not going to judge him on the fact that it could, like, anyone could be in a precarious spot down the line. There's a lot of game left to be played.
fair, but he was
But
just put in a position where he had to not
he had to
vote
expose his
with
cards
people,
a bit for
not vote
sure.
with people that he said he was with. Which still
Yeah,
like
and that's
still green
fair.
score. Like nobody's saying his name's still green score, but
Hmm.
I think at some point you have to really like choose your loyalties. And I mean,
And
we'll
I
see.
think to be fair, I think he has chosen them. I know. I think he knows who he's riding with, and it just got exposed a little bit here.
So 6.5 for Brandon. Diego.
Diego. I won't lie.
Diego, no.
For the longest time, up until literally, I think 2 hours before this eviction, I was like, if Peyton goes home this week, Diego's getting an 8 because he is locked in with everyone. If he convinces Matt to evict Peyton, he will have Sean and Matt working with him. He's still got Liz and Luke working with him. He's got Vic and Faven working with him. He's got Brandon working with him. He's got Paige working with him. He's got Chloe working with him. The only two people that I think would not be totally working with him would be Ryan and Amanda. And what are those two individual people going to do? Even they were like wishy-washy on whether they should or should not get rid of Diego. However, unfortunately for Diego, in like the final two like post veto meeting leading up to the eviction, a lot of shit happened. A lot of things got exposed. And I think just a lot of people that were specifically his closest people, like Liz and like Vic or whatever, like now all of a sudden, everyone wants to target him in this upcoming week. And I'm like, wow, what a turn of a dime. Like, don't get me wrong, his name has always been out there, but I really thought he recovered for a sec. And clearly not as well as we thought, because his name is top of the list for this upcoming week, regardless of who won HOH, maybe with the exception of Paige.
I do think there was a
Um,
pause in people kind of going after him a little bit, but
yeah, no, totally. But it's certainly back up there.
mhm.
What I find interesting for Diego and why I don't think I'm going to lower my score. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's going to be a significant drop in Diego's score, unfortunately. But the fact that he was pushing, I think, so hard for Peyton to go, like he has such a large stake in that I think people were scared of. Um, and also, what I do think is good for Diego is again, we've said it on many rankings past, knowing where you're at and being at the bottom, like knowing that you're at the bottom is better than thinking you're on the top and not and like being delusional in that fact. And he knows he's like, oh, okay, Liz is working slightly against me. Vic is working slightly against me. So you know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to reach out to these people that I didn't want to be working with. Hey Ryan, hey Amanda, and I'm gonna tell you everything because if I'm on the bottom, I'm gonna try and take myself. And that's
Mhm.
what I think is key and what I think could be his saving grace in the upcoming week. I was at a 7. You were also at a 7. I feel like I have to go down to
I
at
know.
least a 4, and I'm going to be giving him a 4 because I think he is in a very precarious position moving forward, in a position that is worse than a 5. A 5 is too neutral. I do think he is in a negative position, but I am going to do him the service of a 4 because I think he is doing the right things currently to prevent what is worst case scenario. So it's going to be a 4 from me, and I worry.
Yeah. I mean, he has to completely reinvent his game. Unfortunately, especially with Liz and Luke breaking away from him to form their own thing. Um, I think I'm also gonna have to do the four. I'm gonna do a four as well. Um, it's gonna be interesting because I'm a little bit tired of seeing Diego at the top. I would be much more interested to see Diego playing from the bottom. I think it would make, yeah, I think it would make for a more exciting gameplay of his because I feel like I don't know. I think he needs a little bit of a switch up. I think he needs a little something. And not to say that he hasn't been on the bottom because people have certainly been tossing his name out
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, it's
over
been
the
a weird
last few weeks.
dynamic.
But in my eyes, he has never really been playing from the bottom. He people have been throwing his name out, but he's still been sitting at the top.
He's
Uh,
still been having a lot of influence and a lot of
yeah,
sway over what's happening.
it's gonna be interesting now. I would love for him. I mean, I think him and Liz breakup is inevitable and will probably could even happen this week. Um,
I think it already has happened.
I I would love to see him move forward with the people that he has like openly expressed that he does not like. So I think that'd be more entertaining. But for Diego, it's a tough week.
It's so interesting. And one thing that I think is really interesting about this cast that on the whole I'm not a fan of. Um, but I think Diego is doing the opposite of this really well. And why I think even though Diego is quote on the bottom and his name's being thrown out, he's still having a lot of influence. Is because Diego is not afraid to just push what he wants to push.
Yeah.
Whereas there's other people on this cast, like Amanda and Matt and like I'm going on the list. I think Amanda is really guilty of this. I think Matt is really guilty of this. I think Paige to an extent. I really think really maybe not Sean. Um Brandon a little bit where people are just they don't say what they mean. So even though, for example, Amanda might really want something with the vote, if she's just like sitting there and then she hears that like you want the other thing, she's going to be like, yeah, I agree, and then not push it. Whereas Diego is going to sit there,
Diego
hear that you
always
want the
says
other
it
thing,
how it
and then
is.
be like, okay, well, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking
Yeah.
this. So
Diego
if we disagree, that's fine, but I'm going to push you and try and convince you. That's why he's been so successful.
Diego always speaks his mind and says what he's thinking, which that kind of person, like, you know what that way you know always what they're saying is what they're thinking, which is like a good thing.
It's
Again, it can always
twofold.
get you in trouble, but
It's the exact reason why his name has been brought up so much, but at the same time, it's the exact reason why he's been able to gain so many allies and have so much influence. So,
and that's the thing, like in my mind, that is a differentiating feature between someone like Diego and someone like Brandon. Um,
absolutely.
is that Brandon is saying he's with everyone, and Diego, like, you know if you're with Diego, which I feel like, I mean, both work in different circumstances, and one is not always better than the other. But I think that is why I worry for Brandon, and also why Diego could not be here for much longer. But um,
I think, and to be fair, I think Brandon, like, I even just being on a call with Brandon, with Liz and Luke here, and like jumping back from Brandon for 2 seconds, it's like, and also based on his diagrams, Brandon very clearly intentionally played the pre-jury phase at a slower, more relaxed pace just to get
mhm.
through it, and now is very clearly turning it up. Him on the call with Liz and Luke was very much not sitting back and letting things roll with the punches. He was like concretely convincing Liz and Luke, like, no, like Liz, Luke, look at me right now. Like, this is literally what he said. He's like, look at me. Saving Diego is not the hill that you want to die on. If Matt is looking to backdoor Diego, you
That's what we said to Sean
got to
about
let it happen.
saving Brett.
Uh-huh. And it's he's now Brandon, I think, has identified like Diego going brings Liz and Luke into him. He's clocked that Diego, Liz, and Luke are a tight trio. So like he wants to cut one of them out to bring that's where I think Brandon's game is gonna thrive. Cut out the other allies of the people that he really wants to work with and force them to work with him. And I think he's clocked that, which is great. Okay. Now Diego,
I think
four.
we've said enough. Yeah.
Great.
Now, Faith.
Haven. Oh, my heart is breaking. Um
Yeah, this is a rough week.
the
Snaps for fighting for what you want to have happen. Snaps for fighting what you want to have happen.
um the reign of her and Vic, I think, is coming crashing down as we speak. Crashing down. Faven is another one, like Diego, that is just gonna like do what she wants and she's gonna say where she's at. And on the whole, I love that. However, the big thing for Faven where this has backfired this week is like the I think what was holding Faven is in such a powerful position because of her alliance with Liz, Luke, and Brandon. It was a group that no one clocked, no one has clocked. They've been getting information from both sides of the house, and
And
it's
now
just
they've
been a
made a new chat without her.
now they've made a new chat without her because
Grade
they're
A
like,
beef, a second beef alliance.
yes, the second beef alliance, and they've made this chat without her. And when I joined the call for a second, they're like, and I guess this really isn't technically this week, but like it is immediately following this week. It'll be in the next episode. But like they are immediately like, well, Faven just loves to not vote with us. So why are we going to keep working with her? Um, which I think is really interesting. I will say I don't think she's in as much trouble as Vic is, um, because I do think she has more social connections, but we are certainly not at an eight. Um, Unfortunately for Faven, and it's the same thing for Vic, it's like they have the unfortunate hand dealt to them where like not only is the side of Liz, Luke, Brandon, Diego, etc. like, okay, well, you're not voting with us, but then the side of Matt and Sean don't talk to you,
Hmm.
and the side of Amanda and Ryan are questioning which one of you flipped your vote, even though it wasn't them in the first place. So like they've kind of lost they had agency on all sides, and now they've completely lost it, and it's different people that have picked up the agency on both sides. So I'm gonna be lowering my score, and I'm gonna go down to mm, this week really wasn't good. I'm gonna go down to a five.
That's what I'm gonna
Oh,
do too.
that hurts.
I know, but I don't doubt that things will change very quickly. I think,
She's got the wiggle room still.
yeah, no pun intended. No foreshadowing intended. Um,
Uh,
referencing? No? Okay. Edo competition upcoming, potentially. Um, yeah, I don't think she's like dead in the water by any means. Um, but I think it was very unfortunate that this vote did not work out for her. But snaps for doing what you want and thinking for yourself. And with that being said, Chloe.
Chloe. Okay,
Oof.
here's the thing. She's not winning the game. Like, let's just say that, unfortunately. Like, if there's anyone to count out right now, it's Chloe.
If
I
there
think
is anybody.
if there's anyone to count out, it's Chloe. I think anyone else still has the ability to win the game except for Chloe. With that being said, these people had the genius idea to give her a veto, which means all of a sudden, not only is she safe, but she's got a hell of a lot of agency.
She's kind of like an infant that someone gave like a stick of dynamite to, which I think is hilarious. Which I live for, by the way. I live for.
I'm literally like so many the people we'll talk about Matt. There's a lot that I mean, Matt is the character of the week to talk about here. But what Matt did when he decided that Peyton was going to go home this week, and his whole argument here that he's going to give Chloe this veto, and that's fine because they can just use it to his advantage. Like, no, like I don't think you understand. Chloe now has a full veto. Not only can you not get her on the block, but if you don't put her on the block, she solely, Chloe, the girl that no one talks to except for Liz and Diego and Paige, has the sole power to save anyone she damn feels like. And you're not scared of that? You think that you can just use that to your advantage? I don't think so. Because I think Chloe's going to gag and she's going to ride for the people that she's riding for,
I think she's
whether it
gonna.
be smart or
I
not.
think she's just gonna use it, even if it's not good for her. I think she would just use it. I don't even think it. I think it could be people she's who are directly working against her, and she would use it just to use it, which is hilarious. Which I think is hilarious.
Well, define working against her. Like, I don't think she's going to like go out of her way to like save someone like
No,
Sean, who like she hasn't talked to. But like
but the odds are that in the next 2 weeks there will be at least one person out of the potentially three nominees each week that is
Diego,
close enough to
Liz,
her
Paige, if
that
any of
she
them
would
hit the
stick
block,
her
she's going to
neck
save
out
them. I hope so.
just to use it, just for the fuck of it.
Um, yeah, no, literally. So, and the fact that she's got that means that she's not going home next week.
No, no, she
So
doesn't use it.
I'm going to give her the highest score she's gotten this season, a four.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up
Because
to
I
a
think
three.
she's
I'm gonna go up to a three. I'm not gonna get crazy here. Um, she almost did go home in a tiebreaker vote,
that's
so
true, and that's fair.
I cannot give her more than a three. But she's got that stick of dynamite, and this baby has no chance of survival at all, aka no chance to win the game. So why not use a stick of dynamite? You know what I mean?
Oh my. Oh my.
This video is definitely not made for kids. Oh, wasn't expecting that. All right, Liz.
Okay, another interesting case. Liz's game, I think as this week was starting to unfurl, I was like, oh, Liz is going to be in some trouble here. She's being clocked. But then it kind of shifted to shifting the blame more onto Diego, and
Mhm.
not a lot of people are talking about Liz as an issue. And Liz has locked down her allies. Like I think moving forward, Luke, Brandon, Matt is going to be like the crew that she's got to
Mhm.
ride with. And she's still got Chloe, and she's got Paige. So like she's got
Mhm.
people still. I think she's well situated still with people like Sean. I think Amanda and Ryan are looking at Diego before Liz. She's not in any sort of a bad position still. I will definitely be keeping my score in the green zone for Liz. My question is, does it still deserve to be at a seven? And unfortunately, I think no. I think we are one hair below, and I'm going to give her a six. And it is because she got clocked a little bit this week. She got clocked and rocked. Um, and I think people do see her as a threat. She's like, people aren't like, oh, we can just like totally trust Liz. Like, no, like people see Liz for the threat she is. I just don't know if people are ready to do anything about it when they have to do something about Diego first in their minds. And then we'll see where Liz goes from there. I think also Diego deciding to turn on Liz, we'll see how that affects things as well. So I'm gonna go down to a six.
I think I'm gonna stay at my seven. I think the week as a whole, especially with the vote, I think Peyton leaving was very important for her.
Hmm.
And especially that they got Matt to flip, and now that they've kind of formed their own thing, I think I think Diego is much bigger in people's eyes over her, and that would mean that people are looking at Diego this week, and that's a whole week that the game has to change before people are still looking at Liz. I think she's got a good set of people with her. I am gonna give her the seven and stay at my seven. All right,
Okay.
cool. Luke, HOH Luke,
Hmm. Hmm. This is what I like to see. I think this is a great
first
week for Luke.
tiebreaker HOH since Cal.
What?
No,
No.
since Michael.
There you go. Um,
Two ties in that season.
the snaps for Luke. I think this week for me solidified the fact that Luke is going to be one to really watch out for. He is the reason why Matt flipped. It was no one else besides him. It was Luke. I think it was crucial for him. In addition, because he was HOH, everyone else was scrambling around him and none of his shit got rocked. So he didn't lose any trust with anyone. If anything, he only built up more trust by repaying back the HOHs. I think no one is looking his way as a someone that needs to be taken care of anytime soon. And I think he's probably got, on the whole, better relationships with people than Brandon does, even though I think those two are in a very similar position. I think Luke sees the game that he's got to play, and he's going to be playing it from the middle now, and is going to be pitting the big heads of the other sides against each other. I think he wants Ryan taking a shot at Diego. He wants Diego taking a shot at Ryan. Um, and like I think he knows what he has to do now. Not that he didn't before, but like we're nearing that position in season 14 where he was able to like run things a bit. Um, I don't know. I think we're finally seeing the Luke that I'm like was manifesting for preseason.
Hmm.
I will be raising my score up to a 7,
Me too.
and I hope that it is at an 8 next week, and I think it could be. But this is a fantastic week for Luke.
Yeah, good week. Um, good target out. The only other person that was nominated that is still here is Chloe. Um, who she's like gunning for. But like with the stick of dynamite, you never know what that could mean for Luke. But uh I mean I think he's doing very well right now, and I'm not surprised in the slightest. Um it would be higher, but we're beefing. So he gets
This is a bad bet. Um,
Yeah,
where
because
are my
me,
AirPods,
the
dude?
famous person that hates Luke.
Um, I don't know where my AirPods case is, but these are gonna die. Anyway, can you still hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting graph this week, I think. The rise and fall of
Of
weeks.
Midwest Princess.
Oh, so true.
Matt.
The one to talk
The
about.
the main event. The main event. Um, as many people can attest, and by many people I mean Stephen, Sean, and Eric. Um, I, for a while throughout this vote campaign, was like, Matt Byram, you stupid ass.
Yeah.
Wake the fuck up, smell the roses, and keep Peyton. Why are you being a dumbass right now? And have your head up Diego and Liz's butt. They're not loyal to you compared to their other allies. Why are you going like he was making the arguments of like, yeah, but I don't want to piss off Luke, the HOH. Well, Luke was not someone that you wanted to work with for the longest time. Oh, but it would make Diego and Liz upset. Okay, they're not super loyal to you in the first place. Oh, well, it would uh what was the other argument? It was like, oh, but they want to target Peyton because he's perceived to be like close with us. Yeah, that's because he is close with y'all. So why would you get rid of him? Like none of it was making sense.
Hmm.
And I think that if he just like didn't agree to the plan and he just made a dumb move and was like, no, I think it is wrong. We need to evict Peyton. Then this would have completely backfired and I would have literally given him a 3 or 4. However, it literally, I'm not like, this is not me. On the whole, I think that evicting Payton here is a huge risk for him that 4 out of 5 times will not work for the position that Matt is in. However, that 1 out of 5 times right now is a perfect storm where alliances are being exposed left and right. We've had a few votes that are question marks. And this vote was already super, super close. And as of this moment, he has somehow managed the perfect storm of he was able to tie the vote, fortify a strong bond with Luke, side with the majority, who, thanks to Luke, all know that he was that fifth vote, so they trust him, even though he's lying to them, which I don't know why. Dumb still. And we'll talk about that next week. Um, but then also his allies of Ryan and Amanda have not clocked that he was the one that flipped, and I think is so far seeming like we're going to be able to pin it on Vic, which is the one person that he talks the least to ever out of everyone. And I'm like, oh my God, is he really going to pull this off and be in one of the best positions in the game? We'll see. I'm a little bit hesitant to raise my score a ton because there are so many ways that this can be undone in literally at the drop of a hat. Sean has the ammo. Luke has the ammo. Liz has the ammo. Paige has the ammo. More than anything, Diego has the ammo. Brandon has the ammo. A lot of people can blow this up real fast. And if it blows up and Matt's been lying his ass off like stupid, this all comes unfurling. And I think all of a sudden he's got no one. So for right now, because it seems like it worked, a famous BBSS phrase, I am going to raise my score only to a 6 because I think he is in a nice middle position and he is going to get away with it. And if he is able to use this next week and is solidly able to get away from it, I could go as high as an 8 because he will be locked in. But I need to see the proof that he's going to get away with it before I really raise my score because I'm not totally convinced that he's going to yet. But for what I thought was going to be an absolute shit move, actually, kudos. 6.
I gotta say, I think I am a little surprised at you, Scott. I think I'm a little surprised at how much credit you're giving him. A little bit. For how much you were against him going into the eviction.
Yeah,
I
it was a really, yeah.
I think he has the potential to set himself up in a good position, but I think at least until the we find out what happens with the HOH competition, I think he has set himself up in an extremely precarious position.
It's extremely
I
precarious.
mean, immediately he said, "Don't tell anyone," and 5 or 6 people knew. People that he told other people. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go down to a 5. I was at the 6. I think I'm gonna go down to a 5. I I mean, right now Ryan and Amanda think it was Favorovic that flipped, but like all it takes is one conversation with them for them to be like, no, it wasn't us. And then to start for them to start doing some digging, and then all of a sudden Matt is lying to everybody. I don't know. I don't know if it was worth the risk, to be honest. So I'm gonna go back down to a 5, but we'll see what happens. I'm intrigued because I think you're right. It takes a perfect storm for this to work, but I don't know if it will. Uh, but we'll
You know
see.
what? You have actually convinced me. I think I am gonna stay at my 5.
Okay.
And I think it is for that reason. I think you reminded me of how bad of a move this was.
Like he should have
Because
kept Peyton. Like
he really should have kept it. Yeah, like let's talk. Ugh. Yeah, and like to be so clear, for the longest time, up until literally 2 hours before this vote, came in prepared to give Matt a 3, maybe a 4. And it's only because it seems to have worked that I'm not there.
it was more of a big move than it was a good
A
move.
good move. Here's the thing that's actually pulled me down from the 6 the most is the fact that Diego knows.
Yeah.
And right now,
So
Diego is
everybody, like
scorned.
almost everybody, is gonna know soon.
Yeah, and if you expose that to Amanda and Ryan, you lose them.
Yeah, and all of a
And
sudden,
Sean is mad,
all of a
and Vic
sudden,
and Faven already are not with you.
I think Ryan and Amanda, all of a sudden now, once the truth comes out, are so strong with Vic and Faven. Like they will reunite, I think, and be very strong. and there's no way Ryan or Amanda is the kind of person to go back to Matt after something like that. No way. Um, so we'll see, but I'm intrigued. I'm entertained and intrigued. And for the purpose of entertainment, I'm glad he did it. But for the purpose of him, why? So, anyway, Paige.
For the purpose of entertainment, I'm glad he did it. But you know what I also would have been entertained with? The vote flipping, Peyton staying, and Chloe leaving. Anyway, Paige. No, 2 seconds more on Matt. You're right. I was like, here's the thing. If we'd done these rankings literally 2 hours ago, I would have been like, right now it's just late and I'm tired. I like Matt Byram. You're catching me at a good time right now. I was big mad. I was big
Yeah,
mad and
seriously.
calling you stupid.
Should I read
Like,
something
I'll
that
show
you
you.
sent
I'll
me?
pull up the text. I wait. Actually, no. Let's pull up the text. Let me
Oh, I
prove
can
to
pull them
you.
up if you want.
I'll just read them out here.
Oh, I can show them too if you want.
Um, let's scroll back. What did I say? I think. Oh yes, I opened up with Matt Byram Grow a Brain Challenge. Um, this is the first time in a while that I'm anxious. Matt Byram, get your head out of Diego and Liz's ass and vote out Chloe. Like, what are we doing? Um, that was a good one. It comes down to Matt and he's being dumb as shit. Yeah. Um, because he's too stubborn to reach out to Vic and Faven, and Amanda's too scared to commit to anything. Slight Amanda stray. Amanda caught a stray there. Um, Matt is so stubborn. He really thinks he's doing so well. Yeah. Um, oh, here we go. I said in all caps, he's so bad. I hate him. That Byram flop era. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Um, and then uh oh my God, he's gonna flip back. He's gonna tie it. He's a moron. I'm so over his dumbassery. Oh, I'm so over stupid players. Um, and then and then now coming up here is when I start to be like, oh my gosh, wait, it's actually working. Oh, oh, and we'll get into that for next week. Um, but yeah, no, I was big mad.
I
And
feel
you're
like this
right.
will all be screenshotted.
I needed to be brought back down to earth of how ridiculous this was. He really should have just kept Peyton, and he would have been in just as fine of a position, if not more solidly better. And now he's just in a like, you know what he's done? He's given like Chloe has a stick of dynamite. Diego has a fucking bomb that he can drop on Matt's game.
This YouTube video is definitely not made for kids. Check no on that box when we post it. Don't watch
Oh,
this at
Matt.
an airport. Paige.
Paige. I okay, now next week you can clock me on saying this. I don't know if I'm as big of a Paige fan anymore.
Hmm.
And I don't mean that to diss Paige,
Right,
but
right.
like it is just a thing of like I don't know why she has the ability to be playing such a middle game and she's not. Instead, she's locked down with Liz and Diego, who I think just are playing better than her, unfortunately. I hate
No,
to
they're
say it.
divorcing. They're divorcing.
Um, but up to this point, just like we're playing better, the other side have been like, I don't really know what Paige is doing. They've kind of counted her out as someone that they can really talk to. Her alliance with Vic and Faven has gotten exposed left and right. I don't know. I'm just like, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing? What's happening? I don't think she's in the main target for immediate danger. Like, I'm not going to be giving her a red or an orange score,
Hmm.
but I no longer feel like she deserves to be in total green score territory. I'm definitely not raising my score. I don't think she necessarily made the right move of like Peyton is someone that really liked Paige and would have protected her, and we evicted him for Chloe. What's she gonna do? What's she
She's a
gonna
B on her.
do? That's true. I don't know. I'm just left a little like.
Chloe having a veto makes this so funny. Like, I just the whole season, this gets so much funnier. Have you talked to Sean about this? What has Sean said?
Oh, he's Sean is Chloe's number one stan.
I know, but I want to know what he said.
I can't I don't know.
I'm
Sean's
honestly
like
surprised that we made the rule that the that veto gets used second. I would have figured that would get used first, but we can't go back.
oh, well. Um
I guess like you're winning the veto as like it would be weird if a nominee won and they're already off the block. I can see this. Okay. I come back to our decision.
Paige is just in a well, she's in a weird position. It's not one that I love for her anymore. I'm just kind of like, oh no. Mm, I think I don't know. I look at who I have at sixes and sevens, and I think she's in a worse spot than Liz.
I'm gonna
I'm
go to
gonna
a
go.
five too. I feel
I'm
like
gonna go to a five.
we
Yeah.
all know what's gonna happen. Um, Remind me, you're not gonna remember. Remind me that when we do the next rankings, I have a really funny DR screenshot of the show, but I can't show it right
Okay.
now.
Oh. Okay.
It's Sean's. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about,
I
but
don't right
it
now.
sums up what we just talked about very nicely.
Okay.
Cool. Everybody going down, besides not everyone. Peyton.
Peyton. Okay. We've already talked about this individually, not on the air. Um, but we have very differing opinions
I mean,
on
the
what
reality is that
Peyton's
he's had
departure from the
either a
game is
red
about.
or an orange score for like weeks.
Because he's been on the outs.
But that's his fault.
Yes, but that's not what I'm saying. Chloe's also had that red or orange score for weeks. I'm saying in terms of being a mover and a shaker in the game, you cannot even begin to tell me that you think that
You're
Peyton
right.
is the
And I
next
shouldn't have said
least
that.
in terms of
I
Chloe.
meant that I don't think he was the worst person to lose against Chloe. I don't think that.
Sure,
I
sure.
think everybody else going home instead of him against Chloe would have been worse than him going home. Is more so what I meant. Which I think is
I
very.
could have lost Sean. I could have lost Matt. I could have lost Sean or Matt.
I don't know. But
In terms of people that are actively doing things in the game, yeah. And granted, Matt just greatly changed that perception, whether it be good or bad. But
he was campaigning a lot.
um,
He was a big player last week. And yeah,
um,
but keep going. Keep going.
yeah. Peyton put up a good campaign. Obviously, had 5 votes. Could have had six. Um, I think what he ultimately, I think he was right that like naming names of who he had was going to be something that could deter people away. But at the same time, I think he needed to like promise Matt
It was his
something
best
and get
shot.
in
Yeah.
there.
He needed
And
to go down
unfortunately, it
to
was
like
like
higher
Luke
near
was the
LA.
one to get in there with Matt.
Yeah.
And I think Peyton just got a little confident that he had the votes when Matt was not anything locked down. I'm gonna go down to a two. It's where most people that he had a good campaign. However, ultimately, this is the end result of his own actions over the
Yeah.
last few weeks, but certainly not a one because he put up a hell of a fight. Two.
I'm gonna go for a two as well. I I mean, good campaign or not, like the reason people didn't vote with him was because of what he's done. So like I can't like be like, well, anything higher than that. But in general, I'm sad to see Peyton go. I mean, I do agree with you that he was a mover and a shaker, but I feel like it was just like a matter of time before something happened.
Yeah.
This. So I'm not like shocked and surprised. And to be
No, I'm
honest,
not surprised.
I
I'm
loved
sad though.
I love almost everyone here. So it's like If I had,
Yeah, I just think what hurts even more is like it could have been Chloe that went home here.
yes, and I'm not saying I obviously agree that Chloe going would have been better. I'm not saying anything opposite of that. I just mean I love pretty much everyone here who was not on the block, and if we had to lose someone, I'm like, okay, like this is kind of your fault. So, but love Peyton, and glad he decided to come back after so many seasons.
Yeah,
Uh,
the season would not have been as like Peyton added a lot to the season, especially in the
mhm.
early game.
Wow, big line down. All right, Ryan.
Ryan, another one that's so he's a really interesting one to rank. Um, I think I was at the 8 for him last week, and you were at the 7. Um, let's start with the obvious. He was on the wrong side of the vote this week. That's not great. Um, however, with all of these blow-ups happening and things getting exposed, I think a lot more people are going to need him than want him out. So I still think he's in a fine, good position, and I think he is someone that is just like good with garnering trust with people. I don't. He's someone that like his name has not been brought up by a ton of people. Diego and Liz now definitely know that like he's an op for them, so I think that'll be an interesting dynamic moving forward. But at the same time, now Diego and Liz have split up, and like Diego's gone to Ryan and be like, "I'm not with Liz and Vic anymore, so what do you want to do?" And like I think it's still an interest. I don't think Ryan's in the worst position out of anyone here. He's still got good connections with. He's got a great connection with Amanda, good connection with Sean, good connection with Matt, good connection with Vic and Faven. Like of that side of the house, Ryan is the one that is most linchpin in the middle of it all. And I think he's probably also the player that has the best capacity to figure out what happened. So I don't hate his position, but I'm certainly not at an 8 anymore. Um, I kind of see him and Liz in similar positions, which is really. Um, can you still hear me?
Yeah,
My AirPods just died. I think he's someone that's in a very similar position to Liz, just on the other side of the house. Um, so I'm going to lower my score down a couple of notches, but I'm only going to give it a 6. I don't think he's in it
that's
any
what I'm
immediate.
going to. Yeah,
I think Amanda and Faven and Paige and people are like in more danger than Ryan is, and Ryan is a very capable player. So it's going to be down to a 6 for me.
I think so too. And I think he has to do some recalibration into getting his footing again after this vote, because it was a big vote and he was on the wrong side of it. But I have no doubt that he will, and he's not in any immediate danger, which is good for him to get his footing again, I think. But um, 6 for Ryan will actually end up being one of the highest scores this week. So Ryan is still good after, I think, being bad. Nice. Sean?
Sean. Um, I'm in a constant weird place with Sean. End of statement. He's simultaneously getting better, but at the same time, like not like I don't know. He's just like he's stuck in this weird position, but stuck isn't the right word because he fully has. It's not like he's trying to do things and it's just not working. It's just like he's just like not doing things. He's just kind of like talking around to people, but not enough people, and he's on the outs from a lot of people still. Um, I don't know. Ultimately, I said last week that his position has increased to a 5, but I was at a 4 because he was on the block and would have gone home as the target. And this week, I'm debating whether or not losing Peyton here and exposing his position a little bit here determines that he should stay at a 4, or if his position truly is a 5 and it should go back up to a 5. Um,
I'm gonna stay at my 5.
And I'm gonna go up to a 5 because I'm thinking about who's got the 4s right now, and I think they are the more likely immediate targets for most of the house. Whereas I think Sean's name is a pretty neutral name right now. He's certainly not anywhere in a green score, but I think a 5 is fine. Yeah. I wish I had more to say. Sean is such an interesting player that is just not doing interesting things right now.
I mean, the interesting things is that he's been the swing vote in a lot of the votes. Um, in this one, in the last one, in I mean, he was a swing vote in this one, but he then became not the swing vote.
It's weird to say swing vote because it's like he's had his mind made up on what he's doing,
Mm,
but it just like happens to like, I don't know. He's just he's playing weirdly,
yeah, I think
and it's
5.
not bad, but it's not good.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with him. Um, Taking things back to Chloe for a second. I just wanted to make it known on the rankings so we don't forget it. I've started a segment in Chloe's diary room called DRQs, where basically I just ask her questions because she doesn't give us much. So I just asked her how she feels about having a veto piece, or two veto pieces, I meant to say, and what her plans are with it. So I would like to know more about that. So I just want to make that known that will be making an appearance in the episodes of what she will plan to do with it because she has to answer the
That's what
questions.
she responds. She loves to ignore the
No,
DRQ.
she's answered all my DRQs.
Eventually, okay, that's true. She does get around to them.
The last one was how she feels about Amanda's dog.
That was a request from me for the Amanda's Dog episode that I am
I will
determined to
always,
make.
I have no problem asking some DRQs. But anyway, moving on to Vic after we get this here.
Oh, this makes me so sad because for the longest time this week, Vic was literally my favorite in this game. I won't lie. And I was about to move her up to an 8 because I thought she was in the best spot of the game. She had literally everyone on all sides working with her. And in the span of one Matt Byram, unfortunately for Vic, and she clocked this earlier this week, and I think it's so funny. She's like, Matt Byram for me this season is Sean for season 13. Vic and Sean on season 13 were both very connected players that were doing very well, but the two of them just never talked to one another, and thus they thought that the other was like had to be inactive. And that's what is going on between Vic and Matt right now. And unfortunately, Matt became the swing power player this week, swung for the fences, made a huge move, and it's seeming like the results of said huge move is going to be all pinned on Vic. And now you've got current, as we leave this week, you've got Matt, who's never been talking to Vic. You've got Sean, who doesn't talk a lot to Vic. You've got Ryan and Amanda, who were working with Vic, now turning on Vic. You've got Liz mad at Vic for ratting out their alliance. Paige knows about that. She's mad at Vic. Diego is mad at Vic for saying that like he's not trustworthy or whatever. Brandon Prince isn't super close to Vic. In fact, he'd rather her go so that he can get in closer with Faven. Luke, she just voted against Luke. So I'm like, ooh, this really, this isn't good. And unfortunately, whereas like not to keep looping her and Faven together, but like they're playing very similar games in terms of their position. But Faven's still much more connected and trusted, and I think Vic is going to be pinned for a lot of this. So ultimately, I have to plummet my score down into the no good zone, and I'm gonna give her a 4, but maybe a 3. It's no, it's gonna be a 4. It's gonna be a 4 for me because we don't know a lot of what's gonna happen this week,
I don't believe that
this
this is gonna
upcoming
get.
week, but
I
it's
don't
gonna be
believe this is successfully gonna get pinned on her. I do not believe it. She hasn't had any time since the eviction to defend
that's
herself.
true.
I'm gonna go down. I'm only gonna go down to a 5. I She's by no means in the same position she was coming out of last week with the agency with Faven, but I just don't see a world like with all of the people that know Matt's lie and that know Vic's character and Vic will have her vote to show. Like, I just like don't believe it. But we'll see. But I'm only gonna on top five. That's 4.5 for Vic.
And that's that.
But lots of very steep changes in the score this week, especially the downs. We had what 10 people out of 13 last week with green scores, and now we have 4 out of 12.
But on that same note, moving into next week, we still don't have like this is the first week in a while where we haven't had, I think, an obvious like here's the next person to go.
Mhm.
Like everyone's kind of sitting around at least a five, give or take a few people. So like truthfully, I think anyone's on the docket to go home next, which is exciting. It's
Hmm.
making like this is like we there really is no I could see honestly, including Chloe, for better or for worse, any of these people in a final five right now. Like if you told me any singular one of these people was in the final five, I would not be surprised. There's no one here that I'm like, no, they're done soon.
It's gonna be some brutal next evictions, I think,
Hmm.
which is exciting for us.
I'm excited for the season. It's going to be a good one. Let's hope.
Okay.
I'm tired, and we'll talk next week. This is? I mean, this week is making like this easily could be the number one moment of the season. I feel like
Hmm.
this vote right here.
Well, we'll see what happens
We'll
on
see.
the next episode, the next rankings of BB Mess Mess.
No, no, no. This is not BB Mess Mess. That's a new series. It's coming soon.
Oh, it is. What's that?
Yeah, I think I've been talking to some people. Maybe this is a preview here. Let's see. Like, let's see how we feel.
The
Um,
reception.
but BB Mess Mess, I want to be a new series, possibly co-host it with Liz because I she came up with it with
Ooh.
me. Um, where we just have on guests and we talk about the gossip. We talk about who likes who hates who.
No, I don't like this idea.
We'll have on guests and we can talk rivalries, or like love interests, or like who's not getting along.
I don't like this idea.
Be mess mess. It's our Wendy Williams gossip column show. We're
So,
workshopping. We'll
by the
see.
time this is out, more information and plans might have already been created.
That's what's gonna drop at the 5 year anniversary. Like we're like doing like this big hype up of like big announcements coming, and it's gonna be the launch of BB Mess Mess.
Okay, bye everyone.